Hey guys, we need to talk about Lies of P because it's changed my life. And that seems maybe drastic to say, but as a middle-aged gamer who has never really got into Souls games, I think it's something I needed to get off my chest. So hopefully we can enjoy a little quick discussion on why it's impacted me so greatly and why I think it is an astounding game. And I realize I'm late to the bandwagon. I realize I'm late on getting on this train into this whole genre and also just this game in particular. But it's important for me to get it out there, to get it off my chest, people. This is what we have to do. I wanted to make this video because anyone who's been coming to my live streams recently knows that we are on like a Soulsborne journey at the moment. I'm currently working through Bloodborne, but I only got there because of Lies of P. I have never been a Souls player. I've picked the odd one up in the past and never got really far past the intros because I just never clicked. I didn't understand the thing that was pulling people in so much. So it's kind of ironic, I think, that a game that has pulled me most into the genre is not actually a FromSoft game. It's from a completely different developer. But Lies of P is fantastic. I was initially hooked by the atmosphere and the world, like this whole kind of steampunk Art Deco kind of vibe and the Pinocchio themes and all of that stuff. That's the thing that drew me in, and the art style, and it just looks so beautiful running on PS5 for me at least. And so that was the hook, and I'd heard it was good, and I gave it a try, and lo and behold, I was sucked in. I was sucked in because the combat was fantastic. On top of the world building, on top of all the other things that I've just mentioned, the initial draws, the combat was awesome. And I was not put off. I didn't end up needing them, but I was thrilled to see that there's more quality of life options in this game as opposed to some, for example, FromSoft games that we've touched on in terms of Dark Souls and everything. This does have difficulty options. I ended up not needing them. I thought I might need to fall back on them at some point because I'm not, like, I don't consider myself a Souls player. But the systems and the mechanics and the journey through the game was established in such a way that I didn't need to fall back on them. And it's fine if people do. I think it's awesome that they're there to have. But I felt happy with the pacing at which the game built up the level of difficulty and the way that you can constantly improve yourself and blending weapon items together and mixing different handles with different pieces to find your own kind of custom build. And it felt a little bit more like you could create what you wanted to in terms of the way you play. And for a large quantity of the game, guys, I didn't block. And it was only later on that I got into the whole timing the parries and figuring out the regain system, getting that to its max, because that was not something I'd done. I'm very much a dodger, much like in real life, guys. Dodge and roll, dodge and roll, dodge and roll. But that was how I survived. I didn't really focus on that. And then that came late in, especially when I was taking on the Nameless Puppet at the end. I very much relied on blocking, and I'd altered my spec to kind of focus on that in terms of, oh man, leveling up the P organ, which I'm sorry, guys, as an English person still makes me laugh. P organ just sounds so wrong. But let's not go there. That's not what this chat is about. There's so much innuendo in this game, by the way, just to put that out there. But being able to respec the P organ and customize it for that fight, for example, really helped. But it felt like all of that through the game, you could kind of focus your build the way you wanted. More than just stats, more than just attributes, but the perks and things like that, and being able to suit that to your playstyle to go with the weapon that you were using. And so, yeah, all of that sucked me in massively. And it's therefore the first Souls-type game that I have ever completed that I can think of. And so it's been an immense journey, and I'm really thrilled that that game has sucked me in such a way. I haven't done the expansion yet, the DLC that's to come. Definitely before they do a sequel. I heard they're doing a sequel. Haven't checked it, guys. You can tell me in the comments if that's a thing that's happening. I should know. I should have checked. But from that, it's inspired me to go further on this journey into this genre. And I mentioned earlier on, I'm an older gamer, I'm 45, and, I started playing on a ZX Spectrum, and I've been through so many games, but I never got the Souls thing. That's happened in the last, decade or so, at least, because it was not really my bag. And now I'm getting on that freight train late because of this game, because of Lies of P specifically, because I think it's up there. And it's up, I'm not saying in terms of the other Souls games, because I haven't played them. And this is the only one I've completed. But in terms of me, just in terms of games that I have played in general in the past few years, it's one of my now favorite games that I've played. I think it's astounding, from everything from the music to the visual design to the combat mechanics to all of that. I think all of it comes together to make a magnificent piece of work. And so that's why I wanted to get that off my chest. Because of that, I am now moving into other Souls games. Completing that meant that we had a vote from my regular viewers, and I moved now onto Bloodborne, and I'm doing Bloodborne for the very first time, which I would never have got to without Lies of P. I would never have got there, ever. And so what's interesting, having come back to Bloodborne, and I remember it dropping when it first came out, I remember it being huge, but going back to it now later for the first time and seeing the building blocks that it created for Lies of P, because like the regain system and things, obviously it's got similar mechanics. Being able to go back, I feel like I watch a lot of those people watching videos for the first time, reactions of movies that I've seen. I'm a massive movie buff, and whenever I watch people who do those like first reactions to movies like Aliens and Terminator, I'm like, how have you not seen this before? Oh my gosh, I don't understand. Now I'm on the flip side of that, guys, because I'm experiencing Bloodborne for the first time. For people who experienced it 10 years ago, are probably watching me in the same manner going, how have you not done this before? What, you've missed such amazing treats. But now I'm seeing in reverse the things of, oh, that's why they did this in Lies of P, and that's where this comes from. I will say there's a few more quality of life improvements, as we mentioned, in terms of maybe Lies of P holds your hand a little bit more, and the fact that there's a checkpoint before the boss rooms, like that's where you can get back to boss fights so much easier, guys, already. Just going to put that out there. I haven't finished Bloodborne yet, but the amount of times you have to run back to a boss, I'm feeling it, but I'm not dissuaded from this journey like I might have been before, having succeeded on Lies of P and felt the reward that gave me, even when some of the boss fights I had to do again and again and again. Nameless Puppet, guys, took me like 6 hours. Nameless Puppet took me 6 hours, I think, to beat that boss fight. My entire playthrough is on my YouTube channel. You can go back and catch any of that if you want to see how much I struggled on that fight particularly. But the reward of getting through that, and I must confess, if I'd been playing it on my own with no one else around me, I might have got frustrated and given up. It is slightly different playing it on stream with people watching you and people supporting you and stuff like that, to kind of feel like you're doing it with them and for them. So maybe that's a factor, at least for me. But even then, the reward of getting through those fights and feeling the joy of overcoming the adversity. And it's interesting because I do a podcast called Saved by Gaming, and I spoke to someone about Elden Ring and how much that had got them through a difficult time, and facing adversity again and again in that game and coming through tough times in the game on that journey helped them get through facing adversity in real life. And I'm starting to understand that connection, which is really interesting. So yeah, just needed to say all that, guys. Say how much that I've enjoyed it. And I think Lies of P, and I'm sure there's far more philosophical thesis that people have put out on this game and other similar games. This is more just a quick summary of like, oh my gosh, this was awesome. And yeah, I want more. I can't wait for more Lies of P. I can't wait to get through Bloodborne, which you can keep up with my journey on the live streams of that. And then we have to decide where we go from there, guys. Do I go back to all the Dark Souls games? Do we jump straight on the DLC for Lies of P? Do I go to Elden Ring? Like, where do we go from here? And so I'm really excited for all of the aspects of this genre that has opened up to me. And it's all it's all thanks to that game. It's all thanks to Lies of P. That's why it's changed everything for me and possibly for many other people. So yeah, maybe I'll see you out there on my Bloodborne live streams. But either way, I needed to get this off my chest, guys. That's it. I needed to get this off my chest. And I've done it now. So thanks.